In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on October 7, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. TCU versus Iowa State. The TCU Horned Frogs will be going for their 2nd consecutive road win when they face the Iowa State Cyclones on Saturday night. The game will be played at Jack Trice Stadium. The Horned Frogs are coming off a 24-21 loss to West Virginia as 13.5-point favorites. The Cyclones are coming off a 50-20 loss to Oklahoma as 19.5-point favorites. TCU is 6-4 in its last 10 games against Iowa State. Last week was a tough loss for TCU. The Horned Frogs failed to score in the second half and lost the game at home to West Virginia 24-21. They looked lost and confused in the second half, didn't seem to be fully engaged or fully motivated to win that game. It was the classic scenario. West Virginia won the game because it wanted it more. I'm a big believer in this Frogs team, but this is the second time they have allowed a lackluster effort to affect the outcome of their game. Of course, the other game is when they overlooked how talented Colorado was to start the season. TCU did a good job regrouping after the opening loss, as it won by double digits against both Houston and SMU. Loaded with talent, TCU should also have every bit of motivation it needs to repeat that comeback effort in Ames against the Iowa State Cyclones. Ames has been a tough place to play in recent years for the Horned Frogs. They have not won at Iowa State since 2015. This is a great spot for TCU to break that streak, as this Iowa State program is on the downswing. The Cyclones have not started this season well, and their offense has been less than average behind freshman quarterback Rocco Becht. That became the starter for the Cyclones this season after quarterback Hunter Deckers and 4 other Iowa State players were investigated for underage gambling. Iowa State's offense has not yet been able to recover from the incident, which has caused Deckers to not see the field yet in 2023. For TCU, despite the tough-to-swallow loss against West Virginia, a Big 12 title is still within reach. But to compete for said title, the Horned Frogs need to show up for a full 4 quarters each week from here on out. We saw in the SMU game what this TCU team can manage when it comes in with a good game plan and execute. Quarterback Chandler Morris has slung the ball well to start this season, and he is backed by junior running back Imani Bailey, who is averaging more 100 yards per game to start this season. TCU has enough weapons to be able to score in bunches against this Iowa State defense. The Horned Frogs have won 3 of their last 5 games. They have played well offensively so far, and they have a balanced defense that can beat teams through the air and on the ground. Even though the Cyclones have done well defensively, they didn't look good in their last game facing a very good offensive team, giving up over 500 yards in the loss. They will be able to slow down TCU's ground game, but their secondary will be picked apart by Morris, who has done a great job under center this season, so expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Horned Frogs in this game. The Cyclones have lost 3 of their last 5 games. They're not very good offensively, and they're barely scoring more than 20 points per game. Their ground game is one of the worst in the country, and their passing game is just a little bit better. The Horned Frogs have done a better job defending the pass since their season opener, and they've also been solid against the run, so expect them to keep Iowa State's offense in check. The Cyclones' ground game worked well last Saturday, but they are still averaging just 96.6 rushing yards per game and 3.4 yards per carry. Their defensive unit is solid, but I think the Cyclones lack offensive firepower to compete against the Horned Frogs. The Horned Frogs will certainly play better defense this time around. West Virginia rolled over TCU, so I'm expecting the Horned Frogs to step up and shut down the Cyclones. Both teams have struggled against the number lately, so the betting trends are not helping a lot. TCU is 2-4 against the spread in its last 6 games overall and 1-5-1 against the spread in its last 7 outings in Week 6. But the Horned Frogs are undefeated in 5 straight contests played in October. On the other side, Iowa State is 2-6 against the spread in its last 8 games overall and 0-5 straight up in its previous 5 games games played in October, the Cyclones have gone 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 encounters with the Horned Frogs. I trust TCU's offensive upside even on the road a lot more than I do Iowa State's, as the Cyclones were absolutely torn to shreds by Oklahoma, and even though they were competitive in the first half, the Cyclones got nothing in the second half against an Oklahoma team that's not necessarily known for their defense. I believe that TCU goes on the road here and takes care of business, so the TCU Horned Frogs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Horned Frogs are averaging 35 points per game. They scored 36 points in their lone road game and averaged 37 points per game in their last 3 games against the Cyclones. With Iowa State giving up 23 points per game, the Horned Frogs will be held under their average in this game. The Cyclones are averaging 21 points per game and 26 points per game at home. They averaged 33 points per game in their last 3 games against the Horned Frogs. When it comes to the totals, the betting trend certainly can suggest the outcome. 4 of TCU's last 5 games overall and 10 of Iowa State's previous 13 have gone under the total. Also, the under is 5-1 in TCU's last 6 outings in the conference play, and it is 6-1 in Iowa State's last 7 showings at home. I'm expecting the Cyclones' offense to struggle in this matchup. Their defense needs to be at its best if the Cyclones want to upset the odds. With TCU giving up 21 points per game, the Cyclones won't score enough points to push the score past the total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Oregon State versus California. California got their first Pac-12 win in their last game and play host to a top 25 Oregon State team that is coming off a huge win. After suffering their first loss of the season against a ranked Washington State team, they had a huge win in their last game, beating 10th ranked Utah. They went to 1 in Pac-12 play and 4-1 overall. The Beavers crushed the Golden Bears at home last season and look to beat them on the road this season, where they are 1-1. After getting throttled by a ranked Washington on the road, Cal was at home in their last game and picked up their first conference win, beating Arizona State. They are 3-2 overall and 1-1 in Pac-12 play, and last season they were crushed on the road facing Oregon State. Oregon State handed 10th ranked Utah its first loss of the season last week and will look to build on the momentum with a road trip against California. The Beavers' offense, led by quarterback DJ Uiagalelei and running back Damian Martinez, ranks 32nd in the nation by scoring 36 points per game. Although they hold a well-rounded approach offensively, I expect Oregon State to lean on Uiagalelei's arm matched up against a Cal secondary that ranks 83rd in passing efficiency defense. It's not a crazy explosive unit, but the Beavers have the more talented roster and should comfortably find the end zone in this one. Defensively, Oregon State ranks 22nd in total defense, allowing just 301.2 total yards per game. It is the top unit in the Pac-12 this season. The front 7 has been a big help, averaging 3.4 sacks per game with the second most sack yards in the country. California's offense has been much improved in 2023 compared to years past, but this Beaver defense will be the toughest unit the Golden Bears have faced all year. Cal got their first Pac-12 win in their last game and are 3-2, but their conference win came facing an Arizona State team that is only 1-4. They stack up on defense against the run, but not against the pass. Both teams' strength on offense is running the ball, and Oregon State has a more balanced offensive attack, and their run defense ranks 8th in the nation. They will run the ball well, have a good game in the air, and play solid run defense. The Beavers have won 4 of their last 5 games, which includes 2 wins over ranked opponents. They have played well offensively and score more than 30 points per game. They love to run the ball, and they pick up more than 200 yards per game on the ground. They've also done a good job throwing the ball and will rely heavily on their passing attack in this game because the Golden Bears have done a good job defending the ball, but they haven't been as successful against the pass. The Golden Bears have won 3 of their 5 games. They have also done a good job offensively, scoring more than 30 points per game. Like the Beavers, they are great at running the ball, but their passing game hasn't been very good. The Beavers are very good at defending the run, and they also do a good job getting after quarterbacks, with the team averaging more than 3 sacks per game. They also don't give up a lot of touchdowns and held 3 of their 5 opponents under 10 points, so don't expect them to have trouble keeping California's offense in check. Cal will struggle in this game, as they will not be able to keep up with the Beavers in moving the rock in the air. Oregon State has little to no room for error following a loss to Washington State, and I believe they will keep the ball rolling with a comfortable win against a conference opponent. So the Oregon State Beavers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Oregon killed it on defense in their last game, and Cal won their game last week with key defensive plays at the end. The Beavers only gave up 7 points in their last game facing a ranked Utah team and put up 21 points on them, even though they rank in the top 10 in the nation on defense. Cal is not a high-scoring team, and like Ohio State, their strength on offense is running the ball. Oregon State has a decent passing attack, while the same cannot be said about Cal. The Beavers are averaging 36 points per game and 38.5 points per game on the road. They averaged 31 points per game in their last 3 games against the Golden Bears. With California giving up 15.5 points per game at home, the Beavers will be held under their average in this game. The Golden Bears are averaging 31 points per game and 20.5 points per game at home. They averaged 25 points per game in their last 3 games against the Beavers. With Oregon State giving up 16 points per game, the Golden Bears won't score enough points to push the score past the total. This game will be a grinded-out affair and not a high-scoring one. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Arizona versus Southern California. The Arizona Wildcats meet with the Southern California Trojans in a Pac-12 battle on Saturday night. The Wildcats lost a home decision against Washington last week. The Trojans posted a road victory against Colorado in their previous bout. Southern California recorded a 45-37 road win in the meeting last season. It's Pac-12 after dark, and the last game of the night features the nation's most electric offense as the Southern California Trojans host the Arizona Wildcats. These late-night Pac-12 games often have video game scores and silly point totals, but this one is on another level. Vegas has listed the game total at a whopping 72 points. Geez, Southern California and Caleb Williams seem to be able to roll out of bed and score touchdowns before they even brush their teeth. Thus the high number. The lowest final score in a Southern California game this year has been 66, and that was only because Stanford is inept at offense, and the total has crested 70 in each of the other 4 games. Arizona presents a different kind of challenge. It is supposed to be a high-scoring offense, but its highest-scoring game topped out at 55 points against Washington last week. Holding Michael Penix Jr. and the Huskies to only 31 points was an admirable feat. Can the Wildcats do something similar to the Trojans? I expect Southern California to dominate. Arizona has a fine defense, but I just don't think it matters when you play the Trojans. Williams and that offense are just going to get theirs, no matter what you do. The question is whether Arizona can keep pace. The Trojan defense is the giant weakness that will likely cost them a real shot at a national championship. They gave up 28 to a bad Arizona State team 2 weeks ago, and last week against Colorado, this defense proved incapable of slamming the door on the Buffs after taking a 34-7 lead in the second quarter. They gave up 4 more touchdowns before it was over, and this defense is going to leave the back door open. Arizona, however, is working with a backup quarterback who might actually be better than the starter, and they have been in the 22nd in 2 conference games. Keeping Washington in check last week had a lot to do with playing at home, and I think hitting the road is going to mean a blowout, and at some point, the Wildcats will see the wisdom in shutting it down and taking their medicine. The Arizona Wildcats don't have any notable wins. The squad's 3 wins came against weak opponents, beating an football championship subdivision opponent in the opener, and the 2 wins against football bowl subdivision opponents were UTEP and a rebuilding Stanford team that will be at the bottom of the conference all season. The Southern California Trojans remain undefeated and have the best offense in the country. Furthermore, Arizona has trouble against the pass. They are allowing an average of 248 passing yards per game, ranking them 98th. This is good news for Southern California, who has an incredible passing offense led by the exciting Caleb Williams, who has a good chance to be #1 pick in this year's NFL draft. Williams has eclipsed 300 passing yards in 2 straight games and has propelled his offense to a remarkable average of 382 passing yards per game. He has already posted 21 touchdown passes and just 1 pick. Also, Arizona has a subpar offense, scoring 24 or fewer points in 3 of their last 4 games. Southern California's home field advantage has consistently translated into covering the spread under Riley, and Arizona, still reeling from a heart-wrenching loss, may struggle to regroup against another high-powered in the Trojans' offense led by Williams. His remarkable performances this season indicate that Southern California could rack up a substantial lead, making the -22-point spread appear quite manageable. Taking Southern California on the spread here appears to be the choice given the combination of their stellar 7-3-0 against the spread record at home under Lincoln Riley, Arizona's recent emotional letdown in their failed upset bid against Washington, and Caleb Williams' electrifying start to the season. Betting on this Southern California spread seems like a pick that aligns with historical trends, recent team dynamics, and the incredible talent of Caleb Williams. So the Southern California Trojans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Southern California, under the leadership of Lincoln Riley and the brilliance of Caleb Williams, has consistently leaned towards high-scoring affairs when facing Pac-12 opponents, with the over hitting at an impressive 76.9%. Their dynamic offense has the potential to put up substantial points, and with Arizona coming off a loss, they may be eager to rebound and contribute to the scoreboard. Furthermore, Arizona's track record of hitting the over at 5-3-0 following a loss in their previous game suggests they have the capability to put points on the board as well. Southern California has piled on the points regardless of the opponent. They have registered at least 42 points in all 5 games, including 56 against Stanford, and the over has been the common trend. They lead the country in several categories, including points, and Arizona just squandered 474 total yards against Washington. In addition, Southern California will give up yards and points. They allowed 41 last week and rank 105th in pass defense. Arizona has a good quarterback in Jaden DeLora, and the Arizona offense is averaging 283 passing yards per game. The over is 4-1 in the Trojans' 5 games on the season. This convergence of historical data points toward a game that could see a flurry of scoring, making the over of 72.5 an attractive betting option for those seeking a late-night, exciting, high-scoring affair between these Pac-12 opponents. I expect a barrage of scoring in this one. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.